2023 was my first full year in business and I made six figures. I'm going to be telling you 8 things that I learned making six figures in business. If you guys don't know, my name is Sephora. I'm a licensed attorney and six-figure business owner, and I help women build their business from the ground up. Okay, so a couple of things. I started my business at the end of 2022. So sometime in July or August 2022. So I hit six figures actually sometime in mid 2023, right? Maybe like, I don't know, before the end of 2023, but 2023 was my first full year in business and I made six figures. And here are the things that I learned. Okay, number one, if you are a service-based business, vetting your clients is so important. I feel like when I first started my business, I would just take anyone. Like if you wanted to work with me, yep, accept it. If you wanted to work with me, yep, accept it. And I quickly realized I could not do that, because by doing that, I was taking people who I didn't want to work with. And by that, I meant like they weren't serious about hitting their goals, or they were too difficult and everything they had a problem with, or everything they had a complaint about, or like nothing was working, or they weren't willing to put in the work. I would give them an assignment, I would tell them what to do, and they wouldn't want to do it, right? And as a service-based business, as a coach, you can't take on clients like that, because you're never going to be able to help them no matter what, because they don't want to put in the work, they don't actually want to learn, and they just want to make more problems or make excuses. And so I wish that I had sooner started vetting the clients. So now I have an intake form before you can start working with me, where I have a list of questions that I want an answer to before you can start working with me, right? So my business that I hit six figures in, as you guys know, I have 2 businesses. So my business that I hit six figures in, my law school coaching business, before you can work with me one-on-one, you have to fill out this form answering these questions about yourself. And that tells me, hey, like this is a good person to work with, or hey, maybe I don't want to work with this person. So if you're like just starting out and you do have a service-based or a coaching-based business, then I encourage you to think about vetting your one-on-one clients, because there's going to be nothing worse, especially if you do long-term commitments. So like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months and longer, than accepting a client for that long period and then they're the worst. Like they're like the biggest pain in your butt. And also what I realized too was 80% of your income, I always knew this, so I'll get to what I realized in a second, but 80% of your income comes from 20% of your clients. What that means is those people who you're not allowing to work with you, who you're vetting, you may think in the beginning, oh, I'm losing money, but I have to accept it. It's not true. It's not true, because most times those are probably the people who are going to ask for refunds anyway. Those are the people who are going to say, you didn't even help me, even though they didn't put in the work, right? Those people are not worth your time and effort, because you could have been spending that time and effort with someone else. Because of course, if you're a coach as a one-on-one, when you're doing these one-on-ones, you can only accept a limited number of clients, right? Because you only have so much time in the day. So that was one thing I wish I had known sooner. The second thing was, you don't have to do what everyone else is doing. Oh my gosh, I wish I had like done what I wanted to do sooner, and not kind of like just looked at what other people was doing, or necessarily taken advice from other people and done that. So just as a concrete example, a lot of coaches will do done for you work. And done for you work essentially is like, you hire me and I will do it for you, okay? So like if you hire me to build your website, I will build it for you, right? And I started out doing a lot of done for you work. You hire me and I will do this for you. I will do this for you. I hated done for you work, okay? It was too time consuming. It wasn't my zone of genius. Like my zone of genius is not sitting behind a computer typing, doing this done for you work. And what I really wanted to do was coaching. I really wanted to talk people through it. I really wanted to give people advice. I really wanted to tell people the next steps that they could take. And while that was a part of my business, it wasn't the main, or wasn't the only part of my business. And I realized I wanted that to be the only part of my business. That's what I love doing. That's what I really enjoy doing. And so I encourage you, when you're just starting out, figure out what you really love doing. Figure out what you really love doing. What is your zone of genius? What do you want your business to be about? And focus on that. Don't feel like you have to do what somebody else is doing. Like, don't feel like you have to do done for you work just because somebody else is doing that, because you don't, okay? So that's another thing that I wish I had known sooner, because then, because I was working more in my zone of genius, I would have felt more comfortable. I would have probably taken on more clients and then therefore made more money. So just focus on what you want to do in your business and don't worry about what other people are doing. The third thing I learned is that people are buying group coaching, okay? I know I had talked to a couple people who literally said to me, you can't do group coaching, or nobody's buying group coaching right now. It's not true. Okay, I do feel like there is a certain level of expertise you have to have shown. There's a certain level of knowledge that people have to have about you. You have to be positioned as an expert, and I have a video on that, like how to position yourself as an expert, how to market yourself as an expert, how to monetize your expertise. It's one of those titles. You can sell group coaching, okay? I have done it. Most of my offers are group coaching. Most of my offers are group coaching now. And again, that's what I want to be doing. I feel most excited. I feel best when I am coaching multiple people at once. I feel best when I'm able to help a lot of people at once. And so that took the form for my business in a lot of coaching courses. I have tons of courses. It took the form of doing a lot of workshops. So again, like 20 people at a time, 10, 15 people at a time. It took the form of my current monthly coaching subscription, where we have a monthly group coaching call each week, you know, like, am I gonna say, like, if you're very just starting out that you wanna jump into group coaching? Maybe not, because maybe you don't have that knowability, like people don't know who you are yet, and you don't have that, like, hey, like, people already know what you've done. You don't have that personal brand established yet, and I do have a video on that also. But if you have that, you can definitely sell group coaching and make some money and be profitable. Okay, so number 4, it is possible to build a successful business while working full-time. This is probably like one of the biggest things I learned. I am still working full-time. I started my business while working full-time. I made 6 figures while working full-time, and I was not burnt out. I rarely worked on weekends, okay? Like, it is definitely possible if you know what you are doing. I talk all the time about systems and automations. I have a whole video on it. I talk all the time about time blocking and making time for your business. And all of those things are important, but it is possible to build your business while working full time. I think if you look at some of these gurus or maybe even some business coaches, they'll tell you, like, it's not possible or whatever, and it's just not true. And the reason why they say it's not possible is because they think you have to spend 10 hours a day every day on your business, and they'll say you just can't do that if you're working full time. And well, it wasn't true for me. I will say this was something that I knew when I first started out, but it also just was cemented when I hit 6 figures while working full time and while still maintaining my sanity and giving myself free time. And again, it's just all about putting in a lot of systems to make things automated for yourself. It's all about establishing yourself as that expert. It's all about making sure that you have your money making activities, and that's what you're constantly focusing on, right? I feel like people who their business is their full-time job, they can do all the extra little bits that may not be a money generating activity, but when you are working full-time, you're really forced to focus on those things that are money making activities, okay? And so when you switch your focus to, like, what is actually going to make me money, what is actually going to matter right now in this moment, then you will see success in your business. Okay guys, so this video is getting long. So those are 4 of the 8 things that I have learned in making 6 figures in my business. I'm gonna do a part 2 on the next 4 things that I learned in building my business to 6 figures in 1 year. So stay tuned for that video. Make sure you give me a follow on all socials at Sephora Gray Esquire, and comment down below any questions you have about anything I just said. Okay, thanks guys for watching. I'll see you in my next one.